Hello friends, we are back out there on those thrifty streets. In today's video, we are going to be looking at summer decor, and we're going to be looking at things through the lens of timelessness. What are some pieces that we can look for that we can have for years and years to come? So let's go see what we can find. After a quick peek at some of the more large art, which you should always take a quick peek at the large art, never know what you're going to see over there, we're looking at linens. I am specifically looking for outdoor materials and fabrics, things that can be either sewn into pillowcases or just used outside because that's where we spend more of our time during these warmer weather months. So taking a peek at that. Also, I really liked this piece here because that fabric and the look of it, the stripes, is a very classic piece that you could use and weave into your decor no matter what your style. I really loved the looks of this quilt, and while our brains may not go for quilt during the warmer months, they are something to think about when you're out there in the stores because, of course, you can use them when the colder weather comes around. But these are excellent things to have in your car so that way if you need a blanket for a picnic or you need a blanket to spread down at the beach, a thrift store is an excellent spot to look for one of those because if you spend a third of the price that you're going to spend on one out at a regular store and it gets messed up or you forget it, I don't think you're going to be as sad. Another reason to be sure to check out the linen section when you're looking for some summer decor pieces are that you're sure to find some handmade items, and I am all about rescuing the handmade items. And the wonderful thing about them is that they do, most of them, stand the test of time. And of course, that's how you care for them. And me being a sentimental gal, I just love the thought of rescuing those handmade pieces. That way we can just continue to carry them on. Now that my mother-in-law gave me a sewing machine, thank you very much to her, I could always fashion myself some pillows or really just pillow covers because I've got the pillows that I can use for outside. So don't really need the whole pillow, just some fabric. We are moving on to the glassware section. There are also some other odds and ends on these shelves, and we're taking a look at lighting options, things that can be used for patio decorations, and again, some of those timeless pieces that can be used and kept out either all year long and just swapping out little things here or there to make it different, or something that you just bring out for the seasons. I loved this little sculpture here. I actually really almost got this, but I kept thinking to myself, okay, I need a spot for this and I don't have one just yet. So I left it there for someone else to enjoy, but a sculpture is absolutely timeless. I mean, that's been decoration for centuries, but of course you do kind of need to be into that look. I found a lot of great faux plant options. If you're the type that likes to set it and forget it, you don't want to care for a live plant, a faux plant would be wonderful because of course that is going to last you year after year. If you're into gardening or decorating with live plants, this section is awesome for finding vases and items to put plants in. I really love the summery vibe of this shelf, the yellow, the sunflowers. I gravitated towards it and just had to dive in and take a closer look at everything. I loved the feel of this vase, or almost like a crock, and how wonderful is that landscape with the flowers. I was explaining all of this to you guys as I was filming. However, this Goodwill decided it wanted to be Club Goodwill, and the music was blaring, the music was bumping, so therefore I am bringing this to you through a voiceover so that way we don't get in trouble. Another way to look for things that are timeless versus trendy is to look for things that give a subtle nod to that season, such as a color or a texture. For me, summer, I think of yellow, I think of blues and whites, I think of a lot of colors due to the fact that in our garden we have a ton of different colors blooming from the flowers. How about for you? What are some of your colors or textures that you gravitate towards during summer? This mirrored object caught my eye, so we had to get down and explore that a little bit more. You know, I'm always on the hunt for something that can add some visual interest to the garden. We've got a pretty big backyard, and I don't like to clutter it with things, but adding little pops of art into the flower beds is just something fun that I like to do. I thought this would look neat and maybe give the effect of a gazing ball, but upon a closer inspection, it was actually something that looked like it should be used inside. It had a velvet interior and opened up, which I wasn't expecting either. So I decided to leave that behind, but a cool idea and possibly something that you could look out for. This thrift trip was really giving me an easy time in terms of finding things for summer for plates and dishware and tablescape decor, keeping in mind things that we would like to use season after season. I say go for what you love. What are the colors you love? What are the prints you love? Because those are the things that are going to end up being timeless because you love them. On the next shelf, we found the frogs. I thought that that was a funny touch that somebody did when putting these end caps together. These are things that we could use outside, definitely put in the garden. Hey, I mean, you could even be putting these around your home. Honestly, we ended up coming home with that little one in the middle because my daughter spotted it and would not put it back. She loved it so much, and now it's hanging out on her dresser. Who else gravitates towards the shiny objects? I am not embarrassed to say that I do. So I had to look at that, what appeared to be one of those bingo ball holders. Fun story, I worked for a physical therapy company that would go to assisted living facilities and do exercise classes. Well, sometimes their bingo caller wouldn't show up. So I volunteered to call bingo, and it was honestly one of the most fun things I did for that job and just in general. It really made their day to play bingo, and I'm pretty sure that is what that thing was. If you guys know, please comment down below. How perfectly summery is this vase inside a basket? I've actually done this as a DIY project. I'll pop that video up here so you guys can check that out if you haven't seen it before, of how to make something like that yourself. But what a great little basket with that vase. I don't have the space for that, but I love things like that. It is so perfectly summery looking to me. You could even use that really fall or year round. And we have found the wreaths. I honestly find at least a couple of these every thrift trip I go on. So I guess people get tired of them. Not really sure what's going on with that, or maybe they just wear and tear quickly and they want to get a new one. What are your thoughts on these? Is this something that you get a new one of? Do you get new wreaths for each season? Do you swap out the flowers that are within the base of the wreath that you have? I'm curious, and I would love for you to share that with us. I personally love a good wreath, especially seasonally. I am a fan of creating them myself over just buying a new one each season, but hey, to each their own. I would love to, again, know what you guys do and remind you to keep an eye out for them at the thrift store. The holiday decor shelves were stocked. I actually filmed this video back in June. Yes, I know it is now August and I apologize. My goal is to get back to my one video a week. We will try our best over here. But get your first pick on Christmas decor for sure. And I know a lot of people in the decor world on YouTube are already decorating for fall, so you may still find some goodies for fall out there as well. Here's another one of those pieces that could be used outside, hanging on a fence, hanging in a patio. You could hang that vertically or horizontally, and it would give a really fun, interesting look to an outside space. I found some more things that could be used outside. We had some nice little planter baskets, and if you notice there to the left, we have a very cool piece. It is those 3 lizards, and it didn't have a price on it. And you guys know, whenever you pick things up at the thrift store and it doesn't have a price, it does just give you that moment of hesitation, because who wants to go ask someone to price it? But really, it's just as easy as taking it to the register, because typically they'll do that there. But I decided to leave it behind. It may be a slight regret that I didn't come home with it that day. Lastly, we're going to peruse the small art and frames section. Not looking for either of those things this trip, but we are looking for these pieces. This tile that has some decorative work on the top. Such a great 3D art piece to put in a garden bed or somewhere outside. And this is the section where they place these things. I think I'm such a fan of putting these things outside, because here in North Georgia, we do experience a winter and things die. So all of our lovely flowers, all of our greenery turns brown, turns to sticks, and it honestly is not the prettiest garden outside in the wintertime. So having those art pieces placed around and then adding some lighting to things outside really helps the outside look a little bit more beautiful during those cold, dreary winter months. And speaking of lighting, that's something you're typically always going to find and is something to look for your seasonal decor. Votive candles, tea light, candle holders, all wonderful options to be used for summertime decor. Thank you for coming along with me on this trip. I hope you got some ideas or some inspiration to get out there and go to the thrift store. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being here, friends, and I will see you next time.